The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And we're back for another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, as we start the day off about 8.5 points lower on the S&P cash, just under 2.2 billion shares. So we're starting to see, well, probably at this time, what do we got? 450 million more shares than we've had the last couple of days. So certainly we're starting to see some action. I have a feeling that has to do with the long weekend. Of course, we were down, about 11 points lower earlier in the day, and at least the bears ran out of a little bit of juice. And of course, the bulls have run out a little bit on the upside. They did try to get pretty close to going positive today, and we're down 8 points off that. So what can you say? There's just I think we're basically going to start seeing volume really tail off late today. I don't expect a lot of movement into the close today. I think we're probably slowly and probably lightly going to pull back down to 2040 on the S&P cash for the close tomorrow, which isn't a huge move, 20 points from where we're at now. I just suspect it's going to be long and painful. I don't think we're going to see a lot of people wanting to get long or short more of anything. In fact, today's the first real sign that we've had of any kind of what I would say panic buying. I saw that in the gold market. In the crude market, the same thing. So we finally got a little bit of a fear trade going on. We've got crude up $2 and gold up about $22. And to me, that is setting up for this weekend. And I think we're probably going to see these pull back a little bit, both gold and crude pull back on Monday. These things started to really move once we got a little bit more visibility into the talks, the Iranian nuclear talks. We put at least the U.S. His position was to put a bright red line in the sand, and that was to make sure that there was a deal, at least a framework of a deal, as of last night, and now they're pushing that off till June 1st. So I don't see a lot of impotence for the Iranians to do anything whatsoever. We've lifted, for the most part, all the sanctions against them. They got all the cash running in. They have absolutely no reason to get excited about coming to a deal whatsoever right now. The pressure's off of them. I don't know if this is the best way to negotiate somebody, especially people that are insane. The kind of mass insanity we only saw in the Second World War. But I think we have, as traders, have to live in reality. And to me, in fact, I was talking to Steve Rhodes yesterday. We were talking about the weights that some of these different things would have on the market. And to my idea, I kind of like put it in a 0 to a 10. 0 being nothing and a 10 being everything. To me, war in the Middle East would probably be as close to a 10, short of atomic weapons actually exploding, but probably an absolute 10. So maybe an 8.5 or a 9 is war in the Gulf, is the way that the markets will look at this. The Saudis quickly basically said that, we're not going to let them have nuclear weapons because I know that they'll use them on us. And I think that's when we started seeing crude and gold really start to move. And I suspect that there's no bigger moving force in the markets right now than what was going to happen and whether or not the Iranians gain nuclear weapons, because I suspect that there is a 99.9% chance that they use them if they get them. I don't think that they have any intention to get them just to hold sway over other people in the region. I mean, there's one thing, and that's the person that truly is a real and 100% believer. And I don't think they have any problem with people being a little lukewarm. They are all in for the religion, and even people that are slightly different than them are heretics and splinter groups and deserve to die. So I think we're starting to see this slow pullback. Probably not so much as anything that Janet Yellen's doing or another Fed president is saying. I think they all look at the world and see it getting extremely dangerous extremely quickly. Now, I think I was talking to somebody in the den maybe 10 days ago. And for the most part, you can find the information if you want, but it was tough. The Israelis had killed at least, I think at the time, one general in Syria who was lining up people to come invade Israel. And they found out about it, and they put a drone strike on the boy. There has been other high-level leaders of Iran in Yemen and in Syria that have died since then. The Israelis are pretty good at finding out about this stuff and putting a short end to it. My guess is that this won't go very far until the Iranians actually act on it. So we're probably closer, not to a nuclear war, but additional hostilities than later. If you look at what the Iranians are doing, they are basically trying to blackmail the rest of the region. By doing this, they had one really ideal position where they could fire at any of these tankers coming out of the Gulf. Now that they've got places in Yemen, they have yet a second place to take out these tankers coming out of the Gulf. And that's what I think when the Saudis came out with their declaration that it doesn't really matter what we do anymore, they cannot allow the Iranians to have nuclear weapons. Commodities do have after effects, and the political decisions will weigh much heavier than anything else in the coming weeks and months. But I think we've come to the point where the negotiations have, at least in the minds of people in the Mideast, become laughable. And it may be good for U.S. consumption, but I suspect that no one is going to believe anything that comes out of that in the, at least in the Mideast. They may be able to sell that somewhere else, but if it's your life at risk, you can't afford to take a chance. And, we've got a little bit of pop in the DAX over there, up 35 points. But it is a little bit different out here in Europe. But I suspect we're probably going to see more weakness as this becomes more evident. And in history... Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating. The former manager of a market timing mutual fund in 1971, with one of the worst records in the country, they'd lost 20% in the previous years, found a brokerage firm to undercut Wall Street's trading commissions. He calls his fledgling company First Commander. Only later does he rename it after himself, the Charles Schwab Company. And discount brokerages were launched in this day in 1971. Why will oil go up if Iranian oil could come on the market? Well, it's been on the market, so it's not coming off the market. Basically, the U.S. Turned a blind eye at the beginning of these negotiations, saying that they wouldn't do anything to anybody. That's probably the little dirty secret that no one wants to report here in the U.S., and that is that all these sanctions of basically the ones that the Congress had approved were basically being ignored. And so there's no downside to them right now. The reason it's going up is exactly that. that the Iranians, if anything happens, will try to take out all the tankers coming out of the Gulf, and it doesn't matter whether it's their oil or somebody else's oil. That is a choke point, and it's not that far to hit one of these things with a missile, or of course run some patrol boats out there and sink them. These things are double hulled, but one small torpedo, a 50 caliber machine gun, probably enough to make a bad day for any of these tankers coming in and out of the area. But I suspect we probably hear and see a lot more about this since it just happened this morning, at least in their time. We're probably going to see a lot more stories about this as we go into the weekend Thursday. That's why I suspect that we're going to see probably 2040 on the S&P or lower as we close in Thursday's business. Of course, we're going to be closed on Friday as the market is, and we'll get a long 3-day weekend in the market. One of the other things that happens in the markets also on these 3-day weekends is a change in character. If the market had been choppy, it becomes kind of trendy. If it had been trendy, it kind of becomes choppy. In the weekend, the big 3-day weekends for the summer, almost always if you come into one of those with light volume, if the trend was up, then the trend comes back. It's much more in the summer. Those tend to be trend changes than these 3-day weekends in the winter time and or spring. But by the time summertime comes around, I suspect that the old theory is that everybody gets together with their friends and family and starts getting opinions about the way things work in the marketplace. In politics, there is that also thought that really until we get through the last big 3-day weekend of the summer, that no one pays attention to politics either. And you better play to your base all the way up into probably about the 10th of September. And then you go broad market, as it's said. And if you're somewhere down the middle, you go to, or somewhere down the middle, you probably start off on one side or the other of the aisle politically, and then try to come into the center as you come into the election day. But I do digress. What else do we have out here? GoDaddy went public today, and I think about 1.5 years ago we talked about another company that went public. That company also had been in business for a long time. I think it had been in business for 15 years. It hadn't made a profit in 15 years. GoDaddy, been around 18 years. Guess what? No profit ever. This has been one of these recurring companies that has tried to go public. The first time is in 2006. They couldn't get it done there. Sold to private equity. It's back out. It's up 30% today. But we're going to talk about that other company and look at a chart about that one when we come back. In the meantime, give me a call, 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we said we'd talk about this company when we came back. I think it was on the air with Tom O'Brien when we brought this up. But Angie's, we've got a caller, so we're going to go right to him. We'll come back to Angie's list in a minute, but similar to GoDaddy. And let me put this away here for just a second, and then we'll get to Martin is on the hold. But I think he wants to hear this.
These boots are made for walking.
And they're going to walk.
Just what they'll do.
Ooh, wonder what kind of boots they are.
These boots are going to walk all over you.
I guess they're going to walk. Anyway, we're going to go to Martin. And
hey,
Washington,
David.
how you doing?
Doing great.
Okay.
Yeah, in that song, she's got a line that says, "You keep losing when you oughta not be betting," and
very astute pickup there. I never thought of that, but yes,
I
it is
think
in there.
She's talking to me. I think she's talking to me. So I just want to thank Nancy and you because I subscribe to both your newsletters, and because you're always telling us and quoting Jesse Livermore about, holding off, waiting for the right setups, and as you put it, sitting on your hand, and how that's very difficult to do. But if you look at the NYSE index since where we closed December 31st, I think we've crossed through that price like 5 or 6 times, including today. And I'm pretty sure that if I wasn't following your lead that I would have been whipsawed back and forth like mad this first quarter. And, it's going to come to an end. We're going to break out one way or the other, and it's going to be a great trade when we get there.
It is. And you can still make money in these markets. You have to probably drop your time horizon down a lot shorter. But even then, it's one of these things where if you're trading on 5-minute intervals, probably not going to be making a lot of money. So, it becomes tough. I talked to somebody that had been stopped out 3 or 4 times in something that they were trading. And I'm thinking, well, now you got to make money on the 5th time or you're not even going to break even. And it's got to go your way. And
we've had some great trades.
What's that?
Nonetheless, you and we, your newsletter subscribers have had some great trades in that period of time, but not necessarily directionally getting stopped out on the indexes. And I've tried to stay away from that. I say in my newsletter, and it's almost a legal term. I hate hanging around lawyers because I spent so much money with them over the years for things like patent lawsuits and stuff like that in the companies. But you start picking up some of the legalese that these guys talk about. And I used it once in my newsletter, which is I want to have an abiding belief that I'm going to have a better outcome than just random chance. And it's kind of tough to say what an abiding belief is, but I think most people know. It's kind of like the equivalent of a death penalty case. Is there any doubt whatsoever, or is there a shadow of a doubt, or, what is the level that you need to get into a trade? And it's probably a lot less quantifiable. But one of the ways to stay out of these markets is make sure that you only enter them when there is a ton of stocks either on one side or the other. And, I do a scan every night in my newsletter. There's always charts, but normally you'll notice in my newsletter that there'll be 20 or 30 stocks in the morning newsletter when there's really a directional trade to be had. Mm-hmm. When I can only find 5 or 6 of them, it becomes incredibly tough to say that the market's going to be moving out here, because basically it's just like a day out in the bay where there's not, a tide either going in or out. There's just a lot of chop, and it's just miserable and tiring. It is. Hey, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
I saw a fractal futures forecast on copper that shows, beginning right about now through mid-May, copper futures just going down and, pretty much over a cliff. What is fractal analysis, for dummies?
Fractal.
I noticed that I don't think you ever talk about that, do you? It's not something
no, because it's really a way we're going to probably, if you want to hang on through the break, we'll talk about this on the other side. But it's kind of a bigger discussion, and probably why the market's was off 12 points now. Why the market's not cratering right at the moment. Probably a good time to get into this discussion. You want to hang on?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back in a minute from Martin in the channeled Scablands of Spokane County, Washington. We'll have to talk about that too. Who wants to live in a scabland? Ugh. It's a neat place. I looked it up. I think they need to change the name.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back, and we've got Martin on the line from the channeled Scablands of Spokane County. I don't know if I want to be living in a place called Scabland, but...
Oh, it's way too cold for you, David. You wouldn't like it at all.
I know, but could they come out with another word besides Scabland?
Yeah, we wear that badge of honor with pride around here.
Okay. It's actually kind of beautiful, but basically you had a big puddle of water that was a glacier. Catastrophic ice age flood happened several times. Just came through here and just wiped all the soil away, leaving lots of rock. Yeah, basically. So, for example, I've got a 3-acre beautiful little meadow here, just surrounded by rock, and that obviously was a whirlpool of, just scoured it out, and then the dirt filled it back in, just like the dirt blowing in creates the pollution in this part of the land also. Well, I would take a tip from the garbage man who became the sanitation engineer, and maybe find a better word for that. A different name, huh? Okay, that one word could be changed, and I think you'd have an inflow of people instead of people trying to avoid it. Anyway, just a random thought. All right, we'll consider it. Okay. You were asking about fractals, and
what is
I'll probably
unfortunately, programmers are always told that if you ask them what time it is, they'll tell you how to build a watch. I think that there's probably, especially for people that are new to technical analysis, probably a bigger thing that they should think about, and most do not, especially if they're trying to write software to do technical analysis. But almost all this stuff originated with a guy named Benoit Mandelbrot, and he basically started off in the late 50s, 60s for IBM, working on 1958, working on basically technical analysis, and worked a lot on something he called self-similarity, which is there's 35 different major types of snow when you look at it, but they're all just a little bit different. So you can have different type of snowflakes in the order of more than planets in the universe. But for the most part, they come to about 35 different or 25 different patterns to start off the most part on. But it's all about self-similarity, and that is one part of it. They may look similar, but they're slightly different, but there are major patterns to be had. The other part of that is something he called how long is the coastline of Britain. And both of these are mathematical concepts that until you get into them, you won't understand anything about fractals. But basically, his big, I think, Nobel Prize was how long is the coast of Britain? But if you took a big yardstick that was 1 mile long and you went along the coastline of Britain, you'd come up with a radically different number than if you used one that was maybe 1 foot long. So how long is the coast has a huge amount to do with how long the measuring stick you have and use to do it. But there's in stock markets, they believe, I'm not a big fan of it, they believe that there's a huge amount of self-similarity. And if you look up on Wikipedia, you might want to read about Benoit Mandelbrot, but he's one of the guys that started a lot of this. And the other one is self-similarity. There's a thing called a Koch curve, which is K-O-C-H, and basically it's an infinite repeating self-similar. As you get closer and closer, basically the patterns just repeat and repeat and repeat. And that is basically the idea behind fractal projections in the market. My belief is that things change between that, and it's not like a snowflake where you just infinitely are going back and getting in there and looking at self-similar curves. So that's probably where you want to look at. I've looked at it. There are reasons for using them, but the reasons are measuring them and probably not predicting them. I don't think that you can put a computer behind projections of the market quite like the fractal people want to. I think it's an interesting, huh?
I was surprised that this goes out for an entire year.
Yeah, but it's based on the previous patterns before, right?
Right.
So the assumption is that nothing changes. And if you've been around the stock market, you know, that's all good and well, but what happens when 9/11 comes? No one was looking for it. It wasn't anybody's projections. Nobody I know of the day before was, or the week before, or the year before was talking about 9/11s. And that's where I fall more into the camp of somebody like Nassim Taleb, who says that you will be fooled by randomness, right?
Yep, I read the book.
Okay. To me, that I don't agree 100% with what he says either, because he's basically always had $1 billion or $2 to bet at any one time. He's not been one of us out here with $100,000 or $1 million. So he's got kind of a skewed idea of how you make money in the market just because he started off with $1 billion, which is the oldest joke in the stock market, right? How do you make $1 million in the stock market? Start with 2 million. You know, it's one of those bad jokes, but it is, when you get into this math, it's kind of a black hole. I've pretty much, especially, in fact, I had a few questions today. Basically, my model of the market tends to be very price volume oriented, but I tend to use the principles of Nassim Taleb, where I want to find my back to the wall, where I'm going to be very right or very wrong instantly, so I don't have to know. And mostly that's going to happen when the markets are coherent. To give you an idea of, I guess, coherency, if you point a laser at something, you're going to probably put a dot on it, 200 yards away, even with a laser pointer. That light is coherent. All the waves are all in sync with each other. If you have a light bulb, all the light waves are basically like chop out on the water. They are basically neutralizing each other because they aren't all in sync, right? One hits the other one, and then basically they annihilate themselves, and that's it. And you just have more and more chop. There's no real tsunami, which is more like a laser beam, right? It just rolls in forever because everything is happening together in one synced wave. And that's it. And that's, to me, your chances of catching one of those tsunamis in or out, or even just a big, huge wave, are a lot better when all the stocks are either testing highs with low volume or testing lows with low volume. And all the charts that I put in my newsletter are basically that. I want a lot of stocks telling me basically the same story, and not one stock telling me everything's great at the highs and then the next one telling me everything is horrible at the lows. And unfortunately, that's exactly what we have a great deal. We've got commodities telling us the world's coming into an end. We've got biotech saying that there is nothing but blue sky ahead. And the reality is probably somewhere in between. When those two line up, we're going to have our next big move. But to me right now, the only thing I can say is I think we've got selling for several days in the future, and a organic reason that no one has to think too hard about. A lot of money being made last year. It's time to pay those taxes.
Time to pay the taxes, yeah. All right, so, David, thank you for everything.
Thanks for the phone calls. And as always, you can be like Martin and call me at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post a message in the den. Yeah. Yeah. There were a few places people in the den, of course, are now talking about horribly named places. There were two places I knew that people got bank accounts just to have bank accounts on them. One was Tightwad, Missouri. There is a Tightwad, Missouri, and they all went to the Bank of Tightwad to get their checking accounts. Another one was Big Beaver Lick, Kentucky. And there's a few more. But anyway, yeah, there's some pretty horribly named places out there. But if you want, get your checking account there. That way, you probably not a lot of people using checking anymore. But I remember people getting that had nothing to do with Tightwad, Missouri, and getting checks from them. It seemed like the thing to do back in the day. What else is going on? Oh, anyway, get back to what we were talking about before. And that was GoDaddy. And the last time I saw a stock that had been around for 15 years was Angie's List. And, of course, let's take a bigger, longer look on this one. I warned about this thing when it kind of came out. It's had some fairly large swings in this thing. But the answer was that, it came out, got down to $9 back on September 6th of 2012, ran all the way up to July 18th. And was the earnings any better? No. There was a lot of promise. This thing's broken down now. And, of course, if you are looking for some kind of low in Angie's List, don't. If you missed it, Amazon is basically getting into the exact same business that Angie's List is in. And I think there's a few lessons to be learned from Angie's List. Besides, when Tom and I agree on something, it's probably pretty right. But the one thing on this one is watch out for companies that have never made any money, and the belief that they're going to suddenly make money once they go public. Now, can things be okay for the domain registrar of choice at GoDaddy? I think the answer is yes, but things haven't materially changed since 2006 for them. Their books basically look about the same. I think what we have now, though, is a market that's willing to eat just about anything with the thought that they can make some money selling to the bigger fool out there in the marketplace. But yeah, could this thing kind of languish around $5 for a while? For Angie's List, the answer is yes. But my guess is that it is maybe got a year or two before this thing is bankrupt. My guess is the one thing you don't want to be up against is Amazon. Amazon, of course, if you're into their ecosystem, really makes it easy to get in there. And I think they've got the financial might to put Angie's List down fairly quickly. But again, I don't know if it's a great business for Amazon, so I wouldn't buy Amazon for that reason. But I think there's a good chance that basically Amazon continues its path of slowly picking up some of this low-hanging fruit for companies that are probably at least somewhat dubious. We know that Google is getting into this registrar business, and my guess is that we see something over the next couple of years where Google goes big in this market of domain registry, and maybe we have maybe a little bit of history repeating in GoDaddy in domain registrations as we do in Angie's List. Google is slowly moving to become the ISP of choice because they suspect that Time Warner, Comcast, all these others are out here are really in the mood to cut their water supply off for their cattle downstream, and they don't want to even have the chance of being put over a barrel and not getting to their customers. I don't know what else you can say about that. I haven't looked at Google for a while, so we'll do that today. Yeah. Designing the fjords. That's exactly what it was all about. We talked a little bit about some of the stuff going on out here. And, with crude up, you would think that some things are, maybe besides the Middle East, troublesome. And actually, they have gotten better in Niger. The Nigerian election was peaceful and suggests there will be fewer disruptions from them in the near future. Good luck, Jonathan, who is the guy that's going out, basically has been holding power since about 2000. Ironically, probably has one arm and one leg and an eye missing, but his name is Good Luck Jonathan. Somehow I have a feeling, haven't seen the guy. My guess is it's like a dog called Lucky that's got 3 legs. If he'd be lucky, he actually would have 4 legs. But I do digress. But he is being replaced. It is peaceful. It's one of the only peaceful transformations that the Nigerians have had forever in that. And actually, one of the guys I went to high school with was a prince of Nigeria. And I thought, well, okay, he's the prince of Nigeria. Until you find out that there's like 200 princes of Nigeria. Everybody has their own little tribe, and there's not much. And I probably should have figured out pretty quick that when I saw him up at the McDonald's working, that a prince of Nigeria, not much of anything. Of course, a few years later, I saw that coming to America and kind of had to laugh. But his name was Abiomi, I-O-D-E Warren. Boy, it's a tough name. We called him Chuck. We'll be back in a minute.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over $70 35% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back. We haven't really got into a lot. That's all stuff from yesterday, so we can move on to what's happening out here today. A few stocks of interest. Probably the most interesting to me out here today is Petrobras. A little bit of bright light in what is fairly a dark room in Petrobras, in that they are going to at least get their books corrected. I don't know if that means that they're, to me, I guess everybody's thinking it's got to be optimistic that if they're going to actually come out with their books, that at least all the bad news will be thrown into them, maybe, and therefore you want to buy it. Maybe it's a little bit of crude being up here today. But Petrobras, one of the percentage gainers in this marketplace as we come out. We're off almost 11 points on the S&P cash, 2.5 billion shares. So we're about, 350, 400 million shares ahead on the New York Consolidated Tape today. So volume has picked up. My guess is we will have lighter volume and a lighter volume pullback into the close tomorrow. Other stocks of interest out here, we had PBR. One of the other reasons in PBR that it is higher too, just so before I forget it, is that the Chinese green mailed them a ton of cash. They basically gave them $3.5 billion in a credit facility agreement. So the Chinese continue to be opportunistic, especially when it comes to locking up crude and crude supplies in the coming years. Probably Andy will talk about that when he's back tomorrow night. He emailed me. He's winging his way back today. Other things out here that I thought were interested, Mac. So let's take a look at this one. This is what happens when basically you get a little too greedy. The Simon Properties agreement to buy them was withdrawn after what has this been going on for a while now? But up at a high of 95.93 on March 16th, and of course down to a low of $78.99 today, maybe even lower here in the last few minutes. But my guess is this coming back down to this gap up where all this brouhaha started on the 19th of November, 5.6 million shares. And we're down fairly decently today on 5.4 million shares already, 5.5 million shares. So you certainly are into that region of that candle from November 19th. And my guess is that's enough oomph to get us back down to that $70 level before they had talks of it. Airline stocks also having a little bit of weakness out here, both interesting. American Airlines was downgraded at Deutsche Bank, and the whole sector is kind of weak out here. Nice little gap down in the airlines. Not a lot of volume, though. To me, this much more looks like possibility of an asymmetrical triangle, which may take you out another 30 days before this thing breaks. So you want to be watching those. What else do we have? Another downgrade out here that really hit hard is ON Semiconductors. It was downgraded. Where's that at? From Goldman. And on a bad day and a bad open, gap down fairly significantly. In the meantime, get ready. I see Tom O'Brien warming up in the bullpen. Sell when you can, not when you have to. And also, catch us here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. I'll be doing a little bit of Tech Insider during my show tomorrow because we won't be here Friday.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.